I'm Casey Jackson.
I'm Miles Rogers, and this is Show Stories, produced by the Hive Mind Collective.
It's a podcast about all things local music.
Great stories from shows past.
And promoting bands, musicians, artists, and producers that are making music in your community.
And now, here's Show Stories.
Hey everyone, it's Casey Jackson, producer of our show. On this, the pilot episode, we'll hear from my co-host Miles Rogers, who claims to have played in about 18 bands since age 15. He's also the one who pushed me to do this podcast. Later, we'll hear an interview Miles did with his old friend Aaron Condrat, who was in a local band here called LaRusso. First, here's Miles. I'm talking with Miles Rogers today because Miles has been doing this since he was how old?
15, I think, when I first started.
That's when you first started, picked up the bass?
I got a guitar, actually.
Guitar first?
I got a guitar first because, but guitar was difficult. And if I played bass, I could be in a band the next week and be passing out flyers, so...
Nice.
But at that point, I was just a bass player, so... You know, what everybody says, oh, he's just the bass player. So I taught myself how to play guitar and, various other instruments over the years, horns and whatnot.
See, right away, I'll tell you my opinion. Bass players are highly underrated, if you ask me.
I agree with you.
They're very pivotal parts of the band, so don't ever sell yourself short with my projects.
I appreciate that. I am very proud of being a bass player. I take pride in being a bass player first. So I think like a bass player, you know what I mean?
That's awesome. So let's see. You started out with bass, 15 years old.
First band would have been like Dead End Drive, Chad Pinkney, Cody Jones, Hans Shen. We'll name drop a little bit. Camera Grammar on Spotify. Check it out.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Hans Shen. He's doing some cool things. And I mean, just
where were you going to school at that point?
Olympus High School.
Olympus High.
Yeah.
We're both kind of East Side kids because I went to Hillcrest. That's more Mid Valley, but
I forget that. It's still East Side Horde.
Yeah, that's why we started going to Take the Fall shows, because we saw their flyers everywhere, all over Cottonwood Heights and shit, dude.
There's a name drop. That's probably my favorite band I played in at that age. Austin, obviously, the late Austin Parton, rest in peace.
Nice.
And Daniel and Bert Hoagland. That was a lot of fun. We did little bits of touring, up to Half Circle in Evanston, Wyoming. Went out to California one time, played a bunch of bust shows, like one in like a little restaurant. They moved all the tables to the side, and there was a big old jukebox in there. It was super funny. But yeah, they were just kind of bust shows. And then Lauren Madsen, he had been touring a lot with a band, just a solo project called The Yearbook. He, I think he wanted to just play with some people, you know what I mean? And I
remember hearing about that project and seeing flyers again around town.
He was super, that was one thing he was always really good at, was promoting. We decided to bring him into the Take the Fall fold. Bert left to go play for Murray with Chris Alder, and so we talked to Lauren. We were good friends with Lauren. Decided that in order to get on the road, we needed to kind of streamline everything, and so we taught Lauren how to play the drums overnight. You know what I mean? Pretty quick. He learned how to play the drums, and so it was me, Dan, Austin, and then Lauren on the drums. Changed the band name to the Lauderdale, and that's probably where we did most of our significant DIY touring.
Nice.
all over the Midwest, all over the West Coast. It was a lot of fun. Met a lot of cool bands I'm still friends with today. The Row, Goodnight Sunrise. Those dudes. One of the dudes from Goodnight Sunrise is in a band in Los Angeles. All Good Things Rock. That was pretty cool. And Austin had some personal issues, so he after about a year of just DIY touring, he went to Arizona with his family and was with them for a while, and we just kind of fell apart. You know, he was our leader.
Yeah.
So we didn't know what to do. So I, at that point, moved to Oregon and started playing with just a mutual friend band we had met on the road. They were called The Row. It was a Christian band. It was a lot of fun, kind of interesting. Just a lot of... we played a Christian festival. It was with, I think the headliner that year was MXPX on a different day. Yeah. Nice. We had to leave that day, so we didn't get to see him, but it was a... interesting take, you know what I mean? Seeing kids coming to shows for a whole other reason than just the music.
Just the music,
you know what I mean?
like I've seen now.
I don't know.
I guess there was other reasons to come to shows back in the day too, but that was the main thing for us musicians anyway, was to see other bands and.
Yeah, obviously, but I mean, it's if you have an extra reason for them to be there, you have just that many more. For sure. You know what I mean? It was super fun. We even when I wasn't playing in Christian bands, you know, we became associated with that band because in the Northwest, that's a lot of the, you know, way into touring is you know, church groups and stuff. This guy, Pastor Chad, he was a youth leader for a local Presbyterian church in Lebanon, Oregon. Lebanon. You better say it right. That's funny. That's topical. Anyway, Lebanon, Pastor Chad, youth Presbyterian leader. He, in order to get kids involved in the church, he would get in contact with like smaller bands trying to put shows on. Hey, I have this auditorium. Do you want to come put shows on here? And if you came to church on Sunday, you got to come to the show for free.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, super cool. I mean, I thought it was a really cool thing. And he would always buy, like, you know, $200 worth of Taco Bell for all the bands. So it became like a pretty solid stop every time we were touring through there. We would make sure we hit Lebanon, Oregon for sure. It was a great little spot.
So in the context of being an underground band and actually getting yourself out on a tour and stuff like that, like is it all about just finding venues like that to go to, and then kind of lining it up, or like how did you guys even approach that?
It's crazy. It's wild the success that Lauren was able to have before Facebook was what it is now. Because
right.
I mean, he was just
using MySpace, but
he was using MySpace. You know what I mean? And MySpace was great for it. But we, I mean, literally, man, coffee shops, small bars. You know what I mean? Like any place that you could feasibly put on a live band, you talk to the owner and you can talk them into it if you can't get a show in that town. Another thing that we figured out the hard way is the wrong towns to try to book are like San Diego and Los Angeles and whatnot. You want to book
of your bigger markets,
towns like Lebanon, Oregon, where there's nothing else going on that night except for your show. You know, you go to Los Angeles, there's 100 other concerts happening that same evening. And
because they're in a big city, they haven't heard of it.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yours is the last one on the list that they're coming to.
Yeah.
But cruising through Lebanon, Oregon, you get 400 kids packed into a little church auditorium. You know what I mean? It was some of the craziest things we've ever done. So yeah, I mean, honestly, it's just looking for the smaller market areas, and then, I mean, once you get a a show in the area, then you find the band that most recently played there, and then you find their fans, and then you hit them up. Hey, my band's coming through, whatever. I mean, I know that's taboo these days because that's what killed MySpace was, hey, listen to my band. Hey, check out my band. Hey, you guys, I have a band.
Well, I mean,
I want you to listen to.
And you look at it on Facebook now, and it's hard to get likes on Facebook about your band too, or get people to even give a shit.
I know. If you have likes on Facebook, it legitimizes it. You know what I mean? Likes on MySpace at the end of MySpace was, oh, okay, he had a bot running every day.
Yeah.
So. It's about finding the opportunities and playing shows. I mean, so after I played for the Christian band for a little while, came back home, wasn't really doing music for a little bit, and then Lauren and Dan, who had played with me in the Lauderdale, they had started a project with Clyde Armstrong, called Black Hounds. Clyde Armstrong and Ben Hoagland. Those are great dudes. Love them to death. So a way that they were getting shows, it was a Hot Topic was trying to get into this like live acoustic shows.
I remember that.
Do you remember they were doing those for a little? Like big bands were doing it. Well, we were actually like one of the pilot bands for that program, like like showing that it was working. You know what I mean? We were like mentioned in like, I don't know, we were told we were mentioned in some Hot Topic like upper meetings that this band from Salt Lake City was just playing Hot Topics. We literally, like, there were probably 10 towns we couldn't get a legit show for, and so we just played at a Hot Topic. And then we just hustle CDs in the mall, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
$5 a piece, and
back then you still could
sell 20 fucking CDs and on to the next town.
Wow, that's
so. And I mean, it's crazy. You'd get the mom appeal, you know what I mean? A mom there with her kid, and she's just like, "You're from Salt Lake City, Utah? Where are your parents? Like, do you need dinner this
Did you
evening?
run away from
like,
camp?
Can I give you some? Can I take you and get you dinner somewhere? Like,
oh well,
that happened all the time. I mean, we had, just like one of the most memorable Redding, California, when we were in the Lauderdale. This lady took us out to Round Table Pizza afterwards, and it was just like bought us like six pies, dude. It was just so crazy, man. It's cool. I mean, little things happen like. Our very, very first tour out of Salt Lake City in the Lauderdale, we played a show in Idaho. It was kind of weird. And Tony's Billiards. Holy crap, dude. Tony's Billiards. I've got stories about Tony's Billiards we'll talk about on this podcast. We were supposed to play with this band in Missoula, Montana called Automatic Boy. Kenny Fleetwood and Alex Parker. See, I'm still friends with all of these people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, still in contact with a lot of these people that we played in bands with.
life's about connections, man.
It really
We've
is.
made a lot
Dude.
of
It's wild. So Kenny and Alex lived together in this like dope house in Missoula. Like, come to find out, the house is $800 a month, and it's like a 4-bedroom house in Missoula, Montana. Like, mad house, dude.
I love Missoula,
Dude, it's such a great place. But so we had hit them up and just like, hey, we're supposed to play with you guys in Missoula. Like, do you guys like maybe know somewhere we can stay? Like, maybe thinking this was like they might even be living with their parents. Like, we didn't know how old these kids were or whatever. They're like, yeah, we've got a house. Just come by. We're like, what? What the hell? So we drove to their house, and like it was like 3 a.m. we got there. We'd never met these kids before. They're like, come on in, dude. And they just like opened up their house to us, and still, like I said, I'm still friends with 2 of those dudes. You know what I mean? Facebook contact. You know what I mean? But I keep tabs on them. You know what I mean? And we interact with each other at least in the online fashion. But it's just like little things like that same tour. We figured out that we had somehow unintentionally booked a short leg of a tour with this band. We booked shows in these 2 different towns, and they had actually booked shows in the same town, booked the same shows. So we were playing with this band called the Seatbelt Tragedy 2 nights in a row. Still very good friends with the drummer of that band, John Paul. Talked to him like last week.
Nice.
But we contacted them. Just, hey, what are you guys doing today? They're like, we just got into town, so we met up with them at a coffee shop, and I mean that ended up being a really long-term friendship in terms of the band. I mean, we played every time we went to Oregon. You know, they either came to our show or we played with them, and then when I later joined the Row in Oregon, playing for that Christian band, I ended up playing the festival with them. So you just interact with these dudes just time and time again after that's what it's all about, those connections you were saying.
Music is a powerful connector.
It's so cool, man.
Because, these perfect strangers that you've never met before, you hang out with them for a couple hours in a coffee shop and you guys are best friends.
Literally, man.
It happens that quick. And I can, even just being on the local level here, I mean, a lot of the guys that I've jammed with in this latest project that me and you were working on, I'd never met you guys before we started jamming this, and it didn't take long before we were hella close,
I mean, first night we met, jammed a little bit, and then left, and then Casey called me, or I called Casey, I don't remember, and it was like, hey, do you want to hang out again? Like, let's chat about some shit. And so we ended up, it was instant chemistry, but
definitely.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing it's hard to find. I mean, my most chemistry I've ever had with somebody was Austin. It was just so great. You know what I mean? Just you think it and he does it. You know what I mean? You don't even need to talk about it. All of a sudden, it just happens. Wavelengths,
For sure. Love that. That guy, he was He literally one of my first influences on the local band, being in a band.
Mine as well.
Because me and my friend Cameron Jenkins just started going to shows, and the bands that we were going to were Take the Fall, When Cars Crash.
When Cars Crash. Oh, yeah. That's it.
Also,
Fast Cast Runaway.
Contingency
Remember
Plan. Yes.
The Contingency Plan, yeah.
So many others, but I can't think of off the top of my head. But I mean, he just. I remember getting their EP, the original 3 lineup. I think it was Bert and Chris and
Chris Alder, Bert and Austin.
And I got that first CD and
Buried Alive.
Yes.
Gotta get out of here. Yes. Buried Alive. He didn't even mean to do that. Like we made fun of him for that 4 years. Just the Buried Alive. Gotta get out of here.
We're going to have lots more stories from Miles in our future episodes. The guy's toured the U.S. and Canada, so he's got lots of good show stories to tell. This next interview with Miles' friend Aaron Condrat was enlightening on how small Salt Lake can sometimes be. As far as I knew, I'd never met Aaron before, but we found out later that he went to school with a childhood best friend of mine. Aaron and I had met at a birthday party when we were about 12. Here's Miles.
We're chatting today with Aaron Condrat, one of my old friends.
Go way back.
Way back. Aaron, why don't you... Aaron, why don't you tell us when did you start playing music?
I started playing music at age 5. I was that stereotypical Asian kid who... classical pianist at age 5.
Oh, wow.
And then I picked up guitar at about 12. And then got my first band at about 16 or 17.
Okay.
Which is the kind of your high school, just, you play this? That's awesome. Let's be in a band kind of thing.
What high school did you go to?
Skyline.
Skyline, okay. I think I remembered that.
Didn't you go to Skyline?
No, I went to Olympus.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
What year did you graduate?
03. I'm old.
No, you were just... So, like,
I
we would have...
in 03, so same year.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Are you from Utah?
I went
He
to
went to
Hillcrest,
Hillcrest.
actually.
Okay, nice. Yeah, nice.
Yeah. No, we would have gone to school together. You were a senior when I was a sophomore.
Sophomore, okay.
Yeah. So, that's... in terms of Salt Lake music, it's like Special Edward Marshmallows days.
Yeah, yep, exactly.
Yeah, my sophomore year. What band were you in then? At that point?
Like I said, there wasn't anything serious. The most serious show we ever played was for, 5 or 6 friends in the basement that we used to practice in. And, that was it. And then they all went on their missions, and I fortunately, there was an opening in LaRusso, so I was able to join in probably about a month after they had started, which arose from the ashes of the Marshmallows.
Yeah, the Marshmallows dying.
Yep.
John... Did you get in because John's your brother? Essentially.
Essentially, yeah.
That's how you heard about it, not necessarily like. Obviously, your own chops got you in the band.
Yeah.
But
we were sharing a practice space actually in my parents' basement at the time, and so we were sharing some equipment between practices and between bands. So it was after all my guys went on their missions, it was pretty seamless. I had been listening to LaRusso for as long as they had been around, so it was only. And it was nice that my brother and I lived together, so we could just, let's learn some songs.
Let's write a song.
Exactly.
What do you do? How you feeling right now? Should we write a song?
Exactly.
That's cool. So John played for the Marshmallows, actually, right?
Uh-huh. Yep.
Okay. The whole time, or just
not the whole time.
Towards the end.
I'd say like halfway. He was in good while.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, part of that record that they did. What was that? If Life Were a Musical?
Yeah, that's right.
If Life Were a Musical.
Nice.
I remember that because I have so many copies of it.
Yeah.
Literally, they left a box at Kilby. It was. Do you remember when Kilby was doing two shows a day?
Uh-huh.
Did you ever? Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah.
Dude.
Well, they had like 3 band bills, so they could do that.
Yeah, they'd cram in a 5:00
Really?
start time, and then they'd kill the show by 8, and then have an 8:30 start time. And
I did not know that.
And then back in the day, it was usually like the from first to last style of hardcore bands. My band was called The Ithaca Melody.
Oh, that's right.
A tongue twister, bro. That's awful.
That's such a cool band name, though. I love that.
It was funny. I remember Chad Pinkney just picking city. Like he ended up being in a band called Camden later.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it was just like he was just picking city names, and we did the same thing in Lauderdale.
That's
right.
Yeah.
Same shit. But okay. So LaRusso, that has been kind of a triumphant force for a really long time.
Really long time.
Was there a dead time? Did you not do it for a little while?
There was about a period of 2 years, and I wasn't not doing it, but I was just doing solo acoustic stuff.
Were you still performing?
Uh-huh. Yeah,
Cool.
I got lucky, and I got a few up in Ogden and did some at Utah State. Like I said, I think the name and the
college
momentum
shows
kind
kill
of,
it.
Oh yeah, it
Yeah.
kind of carried me, and I was real tight with Allred back then, so that helped too. The kind of shows that he was going for
dude,
was
John Allred.
the kind of stuff that I was doing, and a lot of the shows we actually did together. So, yeah, it worked out. It was after John got married, and Ron started going full time. I think with Lauren, touring with Lauren full time with.
Yeah. Blackhounds.
That's right.
It was still
the
Blackhounds at the
still.
time.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah. And he took your spot.
Yeah,
right?
so the very end of Blackhounds, I quit. Ron joined.
That's
and
right.
Ron left your band. Ron went on a tour, and you guys had 2 shows booked still. And so I was like, absolutely, I
Yeah.
would love to
Yep.
play for LaRusso. That would be so much fun.
I remember those.
So yeah, we got together in, was it Chase's
basement?
Chase's basement, Chase's parents' house. I mean, we were in our 20s by now. You know what I mean? And
Oh yeah,
I
I still remember practicing with you, teaching you some of those songs. We were at my house one time, and I don't even remember where we were, but I still remember one of the practices. And I remember telling you this story at
Tell me,
Austin's
I
thing.
remember now. I remember the story now.
We were playing the Rescue. To your credit, like you had 2 times to like really go over this song, but still,
Yeah.
like you're Miles fucking Rogers. Like let's
Oh,
go.
come on. Don't do that. That's sweet.
But he misses a note, and he just gets this look on his face like, oh, I can't believe I just did that. Whatever. I'm like, okay. And it kind of stops there, and it comes back in on this big crescendo. And I'm like, oh, he's going to get this. And he gets all excited, and he thinks he's going to get it too, and comes in and wrong note again.
Wrong
and we
note.
both just look at him, and his face was just like,
Probably 7 shades of red. And
It was
I mean,
so
at that
funny.
point, it wasn't a joke. At that point, it was like, you need to learn the song better, bud.
but you crushed it. The show. Do you remember who we played with that last show, Kilby?
The Ataris. And
Yep.
We played.
Seriously?
Yeah,
Holy
I've
cow.
told you this. Yeah. So we played with the Ataris, and it was.
Yeah,
it
I've
was
played with them twice now.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a really interesting show.
Yeah, I guess
but
it was more just Chris Rowe and whoever he hired to
Sure,
go on tour
same
with
with
him.
us.
But
same thing, and it was
Yep.
different people.
yep.
And the disappointing thing, I don't mean to sit here and talk crap, but the disappointing thing for me about the Ataris, this is Utah bands, but I want to talk about this band for a second. Man, they just didn't have enough product. You know what I mean? After that.
So long,
That So Long Astoria, they
Yeah,
toured
it was
on it for
nothing.
15 years. They're
Yeah,
still
the,
touring
The
on
cover of Boys of Summer, I still hear that song.
on the radio.
Yeah.
every day.
And that's it.
Yeah.
You're
That's
not
it.
listening to the radio hard enough if you haven't heard that.
I guess so,
yeah,
yeah.
seriously,
Yesterday.
exactly. If you didn't hear it yesterday, you weren't listening to the radio.
That's true. Yeah.
X96 at least. So Aaron joins LaRusso. You were on that first record that you guys did?
I was on the last half of it. So were in the studio recording it, which I believe was
What was that
supposed
first
to be
record
Marshmallow. It was just self-titled EP.
Okay, it was just LaRusso.
Yeah. Exactly. And I
Sam
came
sang,
in,
right?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yep. And I came in the last half of that as they were finishing that, and I didn't actually record any instruments on it, but I still to this day can remember my suggestion. One of my suggestions for the songs, they changed it based on how I wanted it. Yeah.
About
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Because they liked your musical direction.
Oh yeah.
For
Exactly.
sure. Awesome. And then did Sam left?
Yeah. Well. Yes and no.
Sam left the band. He no longer played with you.
He no
Well,
longer played with us. Correct.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. That's all it needs to be said.
Yep.
We went through one of those with my I Am the Ocean leaving. It was kicking and screaming. I got dragged out of there. I didn't
Really? Yeah.
I got kicked out.
Did I know that? I don't think I knew that.
I don't know. I
knew you were with them for a
kinda
while.
Shelled up for a little while. I was pretty bummed.
Yeah.
There was Adam. I went and did Get Scared with Adam.
Right. I remember that.
And for like a week, and then Adam came home from tour, and we had a band meeting, and that was the decision that they had made as a
Wow.
band.
Wow.
It was a bummer, but I mean, I handled it well and love them still, and still good bros with all those dudes.
Oh, that's awesome. And they're broship guys too, right?
Yeah, all of them. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, that's who got me in. And they're actually jamming again for the 10-year anniversary of Escapist Fiction.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be really exciting.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So that's first self-titled LaRusso album. Back on track again. 4 songs, 5 songs, 4 songs.
5 songs.
5
6
songs.
songs actually.
Oh, there were 6 songs on that record. I remember that. My experience with LaRusso. It was kind of, I mean, I knew about the Marshmallows. I loved the Marshmallows. That's how I got into Salt Lake music.
Even at Hillcrest, we knew about the Marshmallows.
Oh, for real?
Sure,
Yeah.
Oh,
Dude,
nice.
all over the valley, everybody knew about you.
That's
It was. I mean, it was it was a name that stuck with you. I mean, I felt like that was a thing that Olympus kids did well. Well, I guess Olympus and Skyline kids, rich kids who played music, did well. Was named their bands. I mean, Special Edward and the Marshmallows. Those are band names that you're going to remember and stick with you. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But I had joined Take the Fall, and Take the Fall kind of went through a period of writing, I guess, and we lost touch with all of our homies, you know what I mean? And I kind of saw, I'm like, what? We can't ever get people to come to our shows, except for like the people that get drunk with us, you know what I mean? Like, we need new people at our shows, not just the same people. So I thought about LaRusso, and I thought about the trademark, and I was like, they're still, packing kids into shows, and I mean, music will work. Let's figure this out.
Yeah.
So I got in touch with, I don't know if it was you or something, but I mean, we contacted LaRusso, and the plan was Take the Fall, LaRusso, and the Trademark Show.
Yeah.
I still have a stack of those flyers in my room. Like,
seriously?
A wrapped stack of those flyers.
That's
I'll give
amazing.
you one when you leave.
I was going to say I want one.
What's funny, Dan had a bunch of them, and so they were giving them out at Austin's memorial.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, it was super funny. It was a super cool part of the memorial. Like, not funny. It was cool.
Yeah.
Someone's just standing there at the door, hand billing
Yeah.
for a Take the Fall show at Austin's memorial. So we hit you guys up. Decided, let's do this together. Let's bank off each other's fans.
Yeah.
And then it was a pretty good relationship after that, right?
I remember it. Take the Fall didn't last super long, but I remember doing shows up in Wyoming and
Half Circle.
that
Was it? Did you guys ever play at the Elks Club up there?
No, so
No,
that
I
is
think
where
that
we
was-
did play.
That was it. Yeah,
'Cause we
I
were
couldn't remember what it was called.
So that was
We played the Elks Club up there with Somewhat Gone and Corner Pocket.
Oh, you
way
did?
back in the day. Yeah.
Corner
oh, that's
Pocket,
funny.
nice.
Yeah, see, we talked about
Uh-huh.
Corner Pocket on the last one too. Those guys are great.
Yeah, and I remember you had Maddie and Steve, or not Steve. Steve from
Yeah.
the contingency plan.
So
Play with you at that show,
Chris,
too.
Chris Alder got an opportunity to be able to build a band, and so he offered dudes in other bands money, and well, not necessarily money, but just like, hey, let's buy some cool gear and let's create a band and let's start. So he took Bert from Take the Fall, and he took Jay from the contingency plan, and so we got in contact with the dudes.
And what was the guy? Ayrton, Atherton?
Yeah,
What-
Ayrton.
Ayrton? John,
Yeah,
that's
John
okay,
from
yeah, yeah.
Ayrton.
Mhm.
Yep. And then Chris Alder.
All
Yeah.
these names ring bells.
Yeah.
Like, they just keep ringing bells, but I can't.
That's
put
Salt Lake
faces
music,
with
man.
names,
It's Salt Lake
you know?
music.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I wish we could, pull up let's pull up MySpace. Let's go to John Ayrton MySpace real quick and check it out. We got in contact with the dudes from the contingency plan because we had no drummer all of a sudden, and we still wanted to be in a band.
Right.
And so they had Matt and they had Steve, and both of them were looking. And so Austin put his guitar down, just grabbed a microphone.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was the Elks Club that we did play with you guys. Normally, the Take the Fall in that era, we had played at this little shed. It was like an industrial shed called the Half Circle.
We played Half Circle a couple times.
Oh,
I
you
think
did?
one of the times
Okay.
was with the Trademark.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Well,
You
them and us
see,
went up
they
together.
were those brothers were really good at Drew and Riley. They were
Oh, so
really
good.
good at marketing and getting themselves out. I mean, their parents were way involved. They got them merch. They had a van that had like the trademark.
The
on the side
Trademark.
of
I
it.
still
It was
remember.
So sick. I
Yeah.
remember
They
that.
still have one of the coolest local music videos I've ever seen.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
That black and white like murder mystery, and
Yeah,
Maddie was the
holy
one like
crap.
double crossing him. I
I
still
forgot
remember that
about
music.
that video.
It's
We
still
amazing.
up?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
make
we
sure
should
everybody
find
goes
it.
and checks that out.
Yeah,
if
go-
you're listening, go
I
check
forget
that
what the
out.
song's called, but it is an incredible music video.
We'll find the link to it and share it with this when we post this
That's a
for
good
sure.
idea.
That's a good idea. The trademark, man, that was cool. That Take the Fall. So we did a few shows, but that was during the when Take the Fall was trying to figure out
Right.
our streamlining and getting on the road, and people couldn't get on the road, and we just needed to figure out the correct combination of people who could get on the road and get out of Salt Lake.
Yeah. And then you did.
Yeah.
What was that? Over like a couple years, we did three 4 tours together?
3.
As the Lauderdale?
3. It was only the span of 1 year.
Okay.
Oh, and I think maybe did you guys do anything with Blackhounds afterwards?
Maybe. God, I don't remember.
I don't know.
remember.
Yeah, so I mean because that time everything kind of just blended together. But so it was the Lauderdale for only about 8 months or so, and I believe you guys came with us twice.
Okay,
but like
yeah.
you guys came up to Washington. I remember we
Right.
played up in like even all the way up to like Centralia, Washington.
Yep.
With the seatbelt tragedy. Those dudes.
Yep, and they had us in their home in Portland. And
Yep, in Portland. Did you guys meet Automatic Boy too?
Oh yeah.
From Missoula.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, we stayed at their we stayed at their house too.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's where a lot of those photos are from. The toothbrushing photos
Yeah,
are from
exactly.
Automatic Boy's
from
house.
their house. Yep, and then Kenny moved to Nashville and started Farewell Fighter.
Farewell Fighter, yeah, and they're killing it, dude.
Well, yeah, I don't think they're doing much.
Are they not doing anything?
He's just
Is he
a
just doing
songwriter
solo
right now. But
Oh, okay. He's killing it. I saw that he sold a song or
yeah,
something.
no,
and it
he's getting songwriter credits.
Yeah,
some
that's
pretty
cool.
big people. Yeah, it's
Wow,
awesome.
that's really cool. Good for him, man. I mean, he was always a great songwriter. I mean, his weight loss is incredible. You know what I mean? He looks amazing.
Yeah, he
Kenny
does.
Fleetwood, if you ever listen to this, we love you, baby.
And can I have some ramen noodles? Just I won't take them until you say yes or
The
no.
noodles. Do you remember that house? The vents in that house were angled weird, and so
Were they?
the pilot light would go out.
Huh.
So every morning, I would wake up before all the other dudes, and I'd get down there and I'd fire up the thing and wait for an hour, and then I had a warm shower, and then y'all had to fucking figure it out after that.
No, I didn't. I don't remember that at all. I do know you were up before everybody because you have some pictures of all of us like while we're
All
still
of you
sleeping.
passed out. Well, yeah,
We're
that's
still
what you do
sleeping.
on tour. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm just a creeper who takes pictures of people while they sleep.
Oh, hey,
Now that
memories, man.
Yeah, you gotta have them. Those were some fun times, man. Some cool tours.
Oh yeah.
And then you guys did the second record, In Verity.
The second record was actually a World Behind the Mask.
Oh.
A long time ago. I think that was maybe 2005, 2006.
So, okay, then the self-title wasn't the second record.
Self-title was
Wasn't
the first.
Was the first.
Right. And then World Behind the Mask was the second. And
How
then
come
The
I don't
Sweetest
remember any
Place was
songs
the
off
third.
of that?
Let's
Holy
see.
cow.
Off of World Behind the Mask, we had Revolution,
Okay.
Let's Dance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I
We did that
remember
big
now.
release at Local. Remember Local?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. The Local, yeah. That was cool. Nate Alouette. Do you remember that? Nate Palmer?
Yeah.
Alouette.
Yeah, that's I do. Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. He did a lot of our shows at the Local. That was such a cool idea.
It was
a
such
venue
a-
in a mall, dude. It was so weird.
Yeah.
They didn't like it.
No, they did not.
They hated it.
I think they just didn't like the kids wandering around the mall after it was closed.
For
If they
sure.
found a way to like keep them like located in the venue itself, I think it would have been fine.
Or close to the venue.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Even like some velvet ropes would have
done something.
Done something.
But yeah, they were making their month's rent in, like one show.
Yeah,
It was
absolutely. Packing it out. And I mean, and then the rest of the time, there's a store where you could go buy local merch. You know what I mean? Like, that's weird.
Yeah,
but
it was such an amazing idea. They did like a segment on the news for it and everything,
Yeah,
and
that's
yeah,
cool.
amazing.
Yeah, the Local. That was an interesting time, man. Salt Lake music it's gone through phases.
That's
Yeah.
I want to get that back. I want to get the interest in the local scene back. you
Well, and
know?
I mean, you'd be surprised. You know,
There's
what I mean?
a lot
It's-
out there still.
There
Yeah,
is.
there is.
There's this young band. They're called Echo Muse. They're pretty killer, dude.
Are they from Salt Lake?
Yeah, they're from Salt Lake.
Nice.
I used to work with the kid's mom. That's how I know of them.
Nice,
She's like, my son's in a band, and then I was like, oh yeah, we play at the same venue as your son. That's super tight.
nice.
But yeah, he's super young and just Echo Muse. They're coming up. They're pretty cool. Check
Oh
them
yeah,
out.
I'll check them out for sure.
Check them out. So The Sweetest Place,
The number 3.
number 3, and then In Verity was number 4.
Yep.
Okay, and then how much touring? Did you guys do any touring after that?
Let's see. We toured mostly after In Verity came out. I remember,
Is that when?
or kind of right in between, after Sweetest Place and then after
Sweetest
In Verity.
Place.
Yeah. Yep. That we did a a big stint out with Neon Trees, actually. I love telling people that story. They're like, you toured with Neon Trees? I'm like, yeah. They used to come up to Salt Lake and open for us all the time.
Name
like,
drop.
Yeah.
Yep, for sure. That's cool.
And Goodnight Sunrise, who's now
Of
just the
course.
Good Night now. And
No, they're not. I don't even think they're doing that anymore.
Oh, not anymore?
No.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Sam, I believe, moved. Justin's definitely a pilot, so I don't think he's doing
Wow.
music anymore.
And I think Justin was the one who did all their recording and
Most of it,
all that stuff. Yeah.
Danny Donuts is singing for a band called All Good Things
Okay.
in Los
Still
Angeles.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Nice.
Yeah, All Good Things. Check them out.
Yeah, another one.
Super rocking. So you guys did the touring, and then did you guys personnel issues? What happened there?
As far as me taking over vocals?
No, I'm just saying after. We're talking after Inverity at this
Oh,
point.
okay. After Inverity,
Unless there's more significant things in that time period that
Yeah.
we should revisit.
not that I can think of.
Because Inverity was released, and then you guys did the touring with us, correct?
Yeah, we were doing a lot of touring with you guys, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, with the Lauderdale. I mean,
Right, correct, yeah.
Okay. And then after that, you guys didn't do a lot of significant touring.
Yeah, after Inverity, that's when we had you fill in for some shows, and then
Was All Red was one of the shows, and then
the Ataris.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's it, right?
Back to back. They were back to back Fridays, I believe. Both at Kilby.
Both, yeah, I knew Ataris was a Kilby. God, it's so long ago, I don't even remember.
Yeah, it's crazy. I love it.
But yeah, my brother got married. Ron joined up with, it was Black Hounds at the time.
Yep. And then that
And-
evolved into the Lauren Walker Madsen band, which I believe he's still
And the
doing.
Hustlers, he is, yeah.
Lauren Walker and the Hustlers.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And then Chase was also married or something, doing his own thing.
I
And
remember
so-
that time he was getting married,
Or thinking about it,
or that was the plan shortly.
Yeah. So I was doing it by myself for a couple years, like I said, just doing the acoustic shows up at Utah State, and had a couple in Ogden. It was really fun, but it was just kind of stagnant. But it gave me a lot of time to just write by myself, and by the time I found some new members before Tell Me Everything, I had quite the arsenal already of songs just kind of like waiting to be fine-tuned.
Absolutely.
And
So you've just
incorporated
been
more
writing
instruments.
since from that point and just figuring
Just
out.
playing shows where
the
I
best
could and
ones.
just writing, yeah.
Cool. I see your tattoo. As you said, Tell Me Everything. I read Tell Me Everything on your arm. That's super cool. Is that your album artwork?
Uh-huh.
Or
Yep. So we did an album called Tell Me Everything, and at the same time we recorded an acoustic album called Roads. We released them about 8 months apart-ish. And these are the covers from both of the albums, and I just kind of combined them into one
Super
tattoo.
cool. Super cool. I really like that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I
thanks, man.
don't think I've seen you with tattoos. Is that a pirate ship too?
Uh-huh.
That's super cool. I love it, bro. Yeah, I don't think I've seen you with tattoos. That's cool. So then you decided to get some young blood in the band.
Actually, Chase came back.
Chase came back?
Yeah.
What?
Yep.
I didn't even know about that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Chase. I miss that kid.
Yeah, I miss him too. Him and I talk every once in a while.
Next time you talk to him, tell him hello for me.
I will.
I got to figure out, you got to give me his number or something.
will.
I got to get in touch with that kid.
I will.
He's
I love
great.
Chase, yeah.
Great
So he
drummer.
came back in. We found another couple people, and one of the guys, my guitar player, we met through a mutual friend, started jamming together, and we were actually still doing just acoustic shows, just him and I. And it wasn't until Chase hit me up and was just like, "Hey, like I'm down if you guys want to ever jam full band." I was like, "Hell yeah, we already got a guitar player. We just need to find a
So
bass
he was
player."
past like the beginning of marriage when he has to be there all the time,
Exactly,
and they
yeah.
wanted to be away from
Yeah.
each other, and so he's like, "I got all this free time. Do you guys
Yeah.
want to jam?"
Yep.
Shit, you quit because you got married. Like I don't. When
Yeah.
did that change?
But then he was back in for maybe 8 months, and then he left again for good. And that's when we found another drummer, and he's the one who actually recorded all the drums on Tell Me Everything.
On Tell Me Everything.
Yep.
Was Tell Me Everything before Rhodes?
We recorded them both at the same time, but we
Same time.
released it before Rhodes, yeah.
I see. That was cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Current members now.
So, it's funny. I actually was reading our text again today, and I don't know if you've seen, but LaRusso is actually, as of last week, we're done.
You're done.
LaRusso is done. I am not
That's
done. LaRusso is done.
Fortunate. I didn't know that. As of last week?
As of last week. We kind of knew within the last 2 or 3 weeks, but we did the official announcement last week.
Wow. And you're not going to use the name again?
Nope. It was.
You want to play some music together?
I do. I'd love to.
Let's jam.
But my guitar player and I actually have a new project that we're doing.
Oh, cool.
We're super excited about. But yeah, LaRusso. People would always ask me, you've gone through so many members. How is this still like a genuine thing? And I was like, that's an interesting question. And I get how people would see what are they doing? They're just kind of riding the coattails of LaRusso off just forever.
No.
But it was always this idea that was bigger than members. It was bigger than anybody. And it was just this message of, kind of where the name came from. The Karate Kid, fighting for the
Karate Kid,
underdog
bro.
and the people who were
Ralph
bet against and
Macchio.
counted out. Exactly. So it was that idea. And that's where I was like, that idea is what LaRusso is, not because we lost this particular drummer, not because we lost this particular singer. But now we hit this creative roadblock between some of the members, and it was just best to remember it for what it was instead of having it devolve into just this big mess.
That's a bummer. Well, news to me. I mean, I guess that's an organic reaction. You guys just barely found out about it on the recording.
I was going to mention it before we started until you said that. And I was like,
mentioned it, but it's all good. I love the natural. I got to get you laughing on this, man. We got to get your laugh recorded. That's unfortunate. But so, what do you have a name for the new project?
Yeah, we're called the 818, and we just got all of our social up
Spelled
last
out
week.
or
and
numbers?
Numbers. It's the and then number 8 : and number 18.
Oh,
Yeah.
the 8:18. Okay, I like
The
that.
colon 18.
Colon 18.
Like time, and that's where it came from. Yeah, it's time? Not. We were worried about people thinking it was going to be biblical.
I literally was just thinking it reads like a Bible verse.
Exactly, and so, but no, it has nothing to do with that. Not that there's anything wrong with that. And some of the verses we
Not
did
that there's
read,
anything wrong with that.
were actually really cool and relevant. But no, it's not Christian or biblically based at all.
Cool. That's a cool name. I like that.
Yeah, we were stoked about it.
So just you and a guitar player right now?
Yeah, so we're doing more like electronic stuff. I don't know if you remember Lael. He played at our album release show. He produced If This Is the Way.
Yeah.
He used to be the singer of Number One Gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he
Whoa.
is
He used to
full
be the
of-
singer of Number One Gun?
Yeah. Yep, Jeff Schneewise.
They weren't from Utah?
No, they were from Chico, California.
No way. That's cool.
Yeah, he was like good friends with Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, wow.
Because he was born in Chico, went to Chico State and everything. Just more name dropping.
More
you know?
name. You got a name drop. Somebody's got to hear this shit. That's cool.
But it's kind of in that vein, a lot more electronic. So we're getting into.
So you're not looking for a drummer?
Oh, we're not looking for a drummer,
I
but as
see.
of now, it's just kind of we're just doing our own thing. We're just basically writing and trying to get, half an hour set down, and then we'll probably start thinking about that kind of stuff. But
I love that. Well, cool. Well, we will have to get some shows together.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the near future. I
Hell
would
yeah.
love that. I'm disappointed to hear about LaRusso. What's the timeline on that even? Like, how long was that a band?
15 years.
What the?
Is actually at this point, about 14 3/4 years.
Wow.
So
Wow.
04 to 19.
Well, congratulations on that.
Thanks,
That's
man.
an amazing run.
Yeah.
I went to a LaRusso show last year. Was it the album release?
At the Metro Metro
Metro Music Hall.
Metro Music Hall. That's right. Yeah.
And I have to tell you, it was like emotional a little bit for me to see you up there. You
Yeah.
know, because we've had so many, good memories together, and I felt like I was so familiar with you as a musician and your music, and all of a sudden you're playing the bass. And I'm like, I don't know a damn thing about Aaron. Like, what's happening? I gotta stay better in touch for sure. But I mean, I was so impressed. I mean, you had kids 18 to 35. La Russo in the audience. It was nuts, man. I'm standing in the back going, look at you, Aaron. You're doing it still.
Yep. Just trying.
That's super cool, man. It's amazing to have that kind of success with a band for a long time.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it was exciting. It was a little bittersweet end of an era, but reflecting back on all the experiences that we've had, the people we've been able to meet,
They're
just
lifetime
priceless,
friends,
dude, right?
man.
Every
Lifetime
time you
friends.
and I get together, it's just boom, straight back into like touring stories, and it's amazing.
Like we haven't missed a beat. Man.
Exactly.
And
I love that.
Those are the kind of friends you. I feel like you. I mean, we talked about this last time, but yeah, those are the kind of things friends you
Connections
develop.
music makes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Casey and my first experience, together, we met, decided to jam together. Then he came, we split, was like, cool, have a good day. And then he texts me and he's like, what are you doing? Like, are you busy? And I'm like, I'm just chilling, dude. He's like, let's get together again. And so like literally met back up after we like left.
That's awesome.
And then hung out the rest of the evening, and I met the other guitar player, and so yeah, that's
Hell yeah. You're still jamming bass too, right?
I am, of course. Yeah, I play guitar probably. I mean, in my personal time, I play guitar a lot more.
Yeah.
Probably. I mean, there's more to do.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure.
But yeah, Casey saw me post an old vanity picture with my bass and was like, "Do you still play bass?" I'm like, "Yeah, man, but I sold my gear." He's like, "We got gear if you got a bass." So.
Yep.
I knew him from I Am the Ocean, and that was like that's what I knew him from. And I was like, well, if he played for the Osh,
Yeah.
then
Well, and I mean, I
we
was
got to get our shit together if he's gonna come practice with us.
I was definitely out of my league in that band. I learned a lot from those kids, man. I learned a lot from Taylor. Taylor's right knee has a One-Eyed Willie tattooed on it, and so it would pop up from the bass drum, and so I would just watch One-Eyed Willie and keep on beat with One-Eyed Willie, and that's how I knew I was staying on beat.
That's awesome.
It was super funny, yeah. Well, cool, man. Well, yeah. I mean, do you wanna? Why don't you plug your? Do you have social for your new band? Or?
Yeah. It's Facebook, Instagram, I think Twitter. It's the 818 UT, as in Utah.
Okay, perfect.
So yeah, we'd love following everything. We actually have a song kind of in the chambers right now. I'm just finishing mixing it up, and ideally we'd like to get it out next month, but we'll see.
Cool.
Haven't really announced anything for it because we just don't know yet.
Cool.
But
Did you guys record it yourselves?
uh-huh.
Cool.
Well, we recorded ourselves and we sent it back up to Jeff, who was our producer for If This Is the Way, and then he added his flair and mixed it for us. But then there's just a few things that I need to change, and then we'll be good to go. So the timing worked out well for that, so we're not stagnant for too long before we can give people something new.
Cool. Who's the best band you ever played with? I mean, Neon Trees. You already plugged that.
Neon Trees, yeah, they were incredible. Best band we've ever played with, man.
Like,
Yeah, we played actually a sold-out Complex show with the Wombats. That was amazing.
Whoa.
And they crushed it.
yeah, I bet they crushed it.
Yeah, they were amazing. And that was actually kind of the first hit where we were like, oh, this is kind of cool. Let's incorporate some more electronic stuff into our music, which is why If This Is the Way was a little bit more electronic heavy.
Oh, I see.
Mm-hmm. And part of the decision
had to do with the Wombats.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little
Because they
bit.
just watching those kids get into that stuff and like how they were performing it, like to me it's so weird without an instrument. Like what do you do?
So wild.
Yeah, like but just seeing them do it and just crush it, and all these kids just going wild for it, I'm like, this is super cool. And just kind of
It's super
how music is
interesting
evolving
how
at this
music
point. I
has
feel
evolved.
like exactly.
You know what I mean? I feel like we're a bit behind step just because we're still stuck in our ways and doing
our
just
stuff
just
has
the
a
rock
little
and
more
roll.
of a nostalgic feel to it.
For sure.
And there's marketability for that.
And it's not going anywhere. You know what I mean? There's
we
still
see Blink
people
182 still
wanna-
releasing all those new
And-
records, and
yeah.
bands like Stick Champs and stuff like that. Pop punk's not dead.
Pop punk's not dead at all. I love
A lot of them are coming back for like
Exactly.
your anniversary album.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, everybody after you've been together for 10 years, you want to
true.
do that. You know what I mean? I would love that. I would love a Lauderdale 10-year. That would have been cool.
Yeah,
we had.
for
I mean,
sure.
we had talked about doing
Yeah,
it.
I remember that.
Austin
Yeah.
was planning on. He was moving up here shortly.
Okay.
Before he was killed. So that was. I mean, it was like a light at the end of this tunnel without Austin. I was super excited.
Yeah.
But
No, I remember. I thought you were saying something about trying to get a whole bunch of local musicians together from back in the day and doing an Austin.
so that's the plan. Anybody who ever
reunion memorial, like.
And well, I mean, show for sure, but I mean, ultimately we want to record it. I want to
right,
record
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Mhm.
So there are about 10 or 12 songs of Austin's that were lost. They exist only in my head.
Yeah.
Because even Dan has forgotten them at this point.
Mhm.
I have videos of a lot of them, which is how I've been able to keep them fresh in my head over the years. I don't
Right.
have a savant memory or anything.
Yeah. No,
But-
I think I remember last time we hung out. You said you had started recording some of them, right?
So I still have those just scratch tracks, because most of those songs were written with Lauren on the drums, and
Right,
it wouldn't be like Bert picking it up and playing again. You know
Right,
what I mean?
right.
Bert, we pretty much recorded everything that we wrote with Bert, and then Bert left the band, and so shortly after that is when Lauren took over, and all the songs we wrote from that point, never got recorded. Plus, Dan knows several from way back in the day that we're gonna try. But ultimately, we want to get. I want to get just anybody who loved Austin to be come play a few licks of a guitar
Yeah.
line on this, and then in the, whenever I finish it, in the credits, we can do, hey, you played guitar on this
Yeah.
song. You know
Yep.
what I mean?
I
And
think that would be so cool.
Super
and it's just a
cool.
great way to memorialize him too.
Absolutely, yeah. So, that's my project for in this next year. I'm just, it's tough, you know what I mean? After you lose them, it's tough to sing those songs.
It's true.
It hurts a little bit,
Oh yeah.
So I feel like we covered it.
Okay.
We got it.
Yeah, that's great, man. It was great.
That was super
Yeah.
tight.
Thanks so much for coming, man.
Of course, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm super stoked to see you, Aaron, and we'll have to get together again soon.
Absolutely.
Let's do some lunch or something.
Absolutely.
Aaron, can you do me one favor real quick?
Sure.
And say, hey, this is Aaron Condrat from LaRusso. Thanks for listening to Show Stories.
Hey, this is Aaron Condrat from LaRusso, but now the 818.
But now
Thanks
the
for
818.
listening to Show Stories.
Cool. Thank you, brother.
Thank you
I
guys.
love you, man. Thank you.
Love you guys.
That's our show for this week. We want to thank Aaron Condrat for being our first guest. Make sure to check out all of the projects mentioned in this episode, because that's kind of what it's for. But especially LaRusso and the 818. I want to thank Miles Rogers for being my host and all the hard work that he does. And thank you to everybody that listened. Be sure to check out next week's episode coming out on Friday. Until then, we'll see you in the crowd. Hey, thanks for listening to Show Stories.
If you play local music in Salt Lake City,
Or if you love all things local music and have some interesting stories to share,
come sit down with Miles and Casey and be a guest on an upcoming episode of Show Stories.
you can get in touch with us by email at thehivemindcollectiveslc@gmail.com.
And be sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at The Hive Mind COLSLC.